If I'm offered an employment-related settlement agreement that includes a departure statement or an announcement, what will that departure statement or announcement say? I'm Richard Hiron, also known as the Hironator, and I'm an employment law solicitor. Now, there is no hard and fast rule about what a departure statement or an announcement might say, but what is important to bear in mind with them is that they are likely to be very vanilla. So they are unlikely to go into a lot of detail because an employer will very likely be asking you to sign a settlement agreement because it does not want to accept any legal, moral, or other responsibility for the way that you feel that you have been treated. So it flows from that any departure statement or announcement would be written with that in mind. However, to give you a bit more detail, this is the way that I would tend to write a departure statement or an announcement. 1. I would define who the departure statement or the announcement is being addressed to, and how that departure statement or announcement is going to be given. For example, it might simply be sent internally to your colleagues via email, or it might actually be an official notice that is put somewhere, so in a newsletter, for example, to anyone so that anyone can read it. 2. A really obvious point here, that you're leaving, and probably the date that you are leaving too. 3. This one is a possibility, but why you are leaving. There may be circumstances that actually prevent the employer from going into a lot of detail about why you're leaving. For example, if you've been dismissed for performance issues, they're probably not going to put that into any kind of announcement, as the more public the announcement, the more likely that they will have breached the settlement agreement, and therefore what's the point in doing any of it? But the alternative is that they could say something that is quite generic. So you say, for example, that you've decided that you want to move on to accept new challenges in your career because you feel as though you've achieved everything that you can with them. 4. What you've achieved for them, or what you've helped them to do. Now, this one is a possibility, and it might be tied into how senior you are within the business. But let's say that you've managed a particularly complicated project for them, you've done it successfully, and they want to recognize that you have achieved that for them. Well, that might be something that is entered into that departure statement or that announcement. 5. Why is the reader being told all of this stuff? Why are they being told that you are leaving? Because we have to remember that the announcement is being received by other people. So if it's just frilly and unnecessary, again, why is it being asked for? If, however, it is actually being sent to say this person is leaving and they have a senior role in the business which is going to affect people's reporting lines, that's the reason for the announcement. It's telling your colleagues, bear with us, this person is leaving, we will tell you in due course who you have to report to moving forward. Because the announcement or the departure statement is not necessarily all about you or all about your employer. It's how it affects the surrounding circumstances. 6. Now, this one is a possibility, but it's always best to try and leave a role without burning a bridge if possible. So you might wish to have something in there that just says best wishes for the future, to show that there's no animosity and that even though you're signing a settlement agreement, you can both part ways amicably. So those are the things that I would usually explore putting into a departure statement or an announcement. I hope that's answered the question, but in the meantime, if you're finding a settlement agreement hard, bring it to Richard.